My kid complained we were poor on TikTok, so I handed him our eviction notice and the budget spreadsheet. The notification came through at 3:47 in the morning while I was loading boxes at the warehouse. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and I almost ignored it because I had another 4 hours on this shift, and the foreman was watching me, but something made me check. The screen showed 847 new followers on an account I didn't even have. Someone had tagged me in a video, my son's account. I clicked it and felt my stomach drop through the concrete floor. There was Dylan, 16 years old, sitting in our kitchen filming himself with that stupid ring light I'd bought him for his birthday. Behind him, you could see our peeling wallpaper, the water stain on the ceiling, the cabinet door hanging off one hinge that I kept meaning to fix. He was talking directly to the camera with this smug expression I'd never seen on his face before. So my dad works at a warehouse making $12 an hour and thinks we're doing fine. We literally can't afford new shoes. I'm wearing the same hoodie I got in 8th grade. But sure, Dad, keep telling me to be grateful. The video had 94,000 views. The comments were worse. People calling me a deadbeat, a failure, asking why I didn't get a real job or go back to school. Someone had found out where I worked and tagged the company. My manager was going to see this. My coworkers were going to see this. Everyone would know exactly how little I made and exactly how badly I was failing my kid. I stood there in the loading dock with a box of printer paper in my hands and tried to remember how to breathe. Marcus, the guy working the next bay over, asked if I was okay. I told him I was fine and went back to loading trucks because that's what you do when you're 42 years old and your entire worth as a father has just been calculated and found wanting by the internet. The shift ended at 8. I drove home in my 2004 Civic with the broken air conditioning and the duct-taped bumper and tried to figure out what I was going to say. Dylan would still be asleep because teenagers didn't wake up before noon on Saturdays if they could help it. I'd have time to think, time to plan, time to decide whether I was going to yell or cry or just pretend I'd never seen the video. But when I walked into our apartment, Dylan was awake. He was sitting on the couch eating cereal and scrolling through his phone. He looked up when I came in and I saw it immediately. Guilt. Just a flash of it before he covered it with defiance. You saw it, he said. Not a question. I asked him what the hell he was thinking. He shrugged and said everyone complained about their parents online. It wasn't a big deal. I told him 94,000 people had seen him mock me for being poor. That felt like a pretty big deal. Dylan set down his cereal bowl and looked at me with this expression that was part teenage bravado and part genuine confusion. He said he didn't understand why I was so mad because everything he said was true. We were poor. I did make $12 an hour. We couldn't afford new stuff. He was just being honest about our situation. Our friends live in actual houses. Jeremy's dad is a lawyer. Katie's parents took her to Europe last summer, and we're here in this dump-eating store-brand cereal because you can't even afford Cheerios. I asked him if he had any idea what that cereal cost. He said he didn't care what it cost. He cared that his entire life was defined by what we couldn't afford. His school had a ski trip coming up that he couldn't go on. His phone was 3 generations old. His shoes had holes in them. He was tired of being the poor kid, and he was tired of pretending it was okay. I stood there listening to my son list all the ways I'd failed him and felt something crack open in my chest. Not anger, something colder. I walked to my bedroom and came back with the stack of papers I kept in my nightstand drawer. The ones I didn't want him to see because I was trying to protect him from the reality of our situation. I dropped them on the coffee table in front of him. You want to know what poor actually looks like? Start reading. The first paper was our eviction notice. 3 months behind on rent. Total amount due, $4,370. Pay by the 15th of next month or vacate the premises. Dylan picked it up and I watched his face change as he read it. The smugness drained away and left something younger, something scared. He asked if this was real. I told him it was delivered on Thursday while he was at school. I'd been trying to figure out how to come up with the money before I had to tell him we might be homeless. The second paper was our utility shutoff notice. Electric company was cutting power in 11 days unless I paid the past due balance of $623. The third paper was the hospital bill from when Dylan had that allergic reaction last year and I'd taken him to the emergency room. $8,000. Collections agency had already called twice this week. I kept pulling papers from the stack. Car insurance overdue, credit card maxed out at the limit, medical bills for my own prescriptions that I'd stopped filling because I couldn't afford both my medication and his lunch money, the phone bill, the internet bill, the minimum payment on the debt consolidation loan I'd taken out 2 years ago that still had $11,000 left on it. Dylan was staring at the papers spread across the table between his cereal bowl and the TV remote. His hands were shaking. I sat down next to him and opened my laptop. I showed him things he'll never forget. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.